Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Gaza.
Free, free, free Gaza.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Gaza.
Free, free, free Gaza.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
All right, I'm going to breathe real quick. Okay, thank you. I have my support people with me. All right, can y'all hear me? The phrase that is often used when people are confronted with the grim realities of our world and want them to change is that a better world is possible. The optimism of that slogan comes from a permanent belief that no matter how ghastly awful the cruelties are, it is always an option for everything to be different, for each and every facet of our existence to be reconceived in a more just and beautiful way. It is to relate to the world with a sense of love for what it can be. But remember Dr. King, who reminded us all with another phrase of a vital and urgent lesson for the present, that love without power is, quote, sentimental and anemic. Therefore, yes, a better world is possible, but we cannot be sentimental and anemic. A better world must be organized for. As the 2-year anniversary of the Gaza genocide approaches, this is our message as San Antonians on the other side of the horror of witness, a horror that is ongoing, horror that we continue to endure together as the world darkens and its clock seems to tick faster. As Mike Davis said, fight with hope, fight without hope, but fight absolutely. It is in that steadfastness that we open today's press conference and announce the formation of the San Antonio for Palestine Coalition. You will hear from representatives of founding organizations about how Palestine has changed them, renewed their struggle, and expanded its scope to be truly international. The coalition here today on the steps of City Hall is the living embodiment of the idea that Palestine will free us from Yanawana to the west bank of the Jordan River and the besieged beaches of Gaza, looking out onto the Mediterranean Sea. San Antonio joins with a global movement demanding the liberation of the Palestinian people. What truths are we gathered together here to oppose? During the last 2 years of the genocide, the following things are true. By October 2023, United States weapons and military aid were already flowing to Israel, and Gaza had been under siege and blockade for nearly 2 decades. Between October 2023 and November 2024, the United States vetoed 4 United Nations ceasefire resolutions. Shame. In November 2023, the Center for Constitutional Rights charged President Joe Biden, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin with complicity in genocide. In December 2023, the United Nations Children Fund reported that Gaza was the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. By late November 2024, the Gaza Ministry of Health reported over 44,000 Palestinians killed and 104,000 wounded. Between April and August 2024, the United States delivered $43 billion in weapons to Israel. By April 2024, By April 2024, 19,000 children were orphaned. By June 2024, 21,000 children were missing. By July 2024, 96% of children in Palestine felt death was imminent, and nearly half of them wished to die. And by October 2024, 4,000 children had been amputated. There's a lot to get through. In 2024, Gaza's largest cities were flattened. Gaza City was 74% destroyed. Khan Yunis was 80% destroyed, and Rafah was in ruins. In 2024, half of Gaza's farmland was destroyed. In 2024, 200 heritage sites were reduced to rubble. By 2024, 87% of Gaza's schools were damaged or destroyed. Over 10,000 students and 441 educational staff were killed. By 2024, 84% of Gaza's health facilities were destroyed or damaged. In 2024, the collapse of Gaza's health system deprived tens of thousands of pregnant women and girls of care. In October 2024, the Israeli parliament banned the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, from operating in areas under Israeli sovereignty. In November 2024, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. Shame. Shame. And between December 2024 and January 2025, newborns froze to death in displacement camps. By January 2025, 92% of Gaza's housing was destroyed. By January 2025, 88% of schools and all universities were destroyed, cutting 658,000 children off from education. By January of this year, 2025, at least 17,492 Palestinian children had been killed. By this January 2025, since October 2023, at least 110,265 Palestinians were injured, 22,500 with life-altering wounds. By January 2025, at least 10 children were losing legs every day. By January 2025, 85,000 tons of explosives had been dropped. 42 million tons of rubble created. By January 2025, 1.9 million Palestinians were displaced, 80% living in tents, many unfit for the winter. Between January and March 2025, thousands more Palestinians were killed as Israel broke the January ceasefire. In April 2025, Shifa Hospital was rendered non-functional after Israeli withdrawal at an assault. In May 2025, the Rafah crossing was seized by Israel, shutting off critical medical aid and exit. By mid-2025, over 57,000 Palestinians in Gaza had been killed. By mid-2025, 40,000 children had been orphaned. By mid-2025, more than 1,580 health professionals had been killed. By mid-2025, 93% of households have no safe water. Over 700 water and pumping stations destroyed. By mid-2025, electricity, sanitation, and fuel systems were dismantled. Disease outbreaks spread. And by mid-2025, over 92% of Gaza's homes were destroyed or damaged, 436,000 units uninhabitable. This year, 2025, Israel's use of starvation as a weapon of war was identified as extermination and genocide. In 2025, Israel's plan to demolish remaining civilian infrastructure and concentrate Gaza's population into a reduced area was identified as ethnic cleansing and genocide. Between 2024 and 2025, despite clear evidence of atrocities, states including the United States and Germany continue to arm Israel, implicating them in complicity. By mid-2025, Physicians for Human Rights Israel and Human Rights Watch both concluded that Israel's conduct fulfills multiple acts of genocide under the 1948 Genocide Convention. And last month, September 2025, finally, the UN concludes Israel is committing a genocide. While these gruesome and devastating truths were mounting as people across the world watched daily massacres on their phones and were compelled into action, from dock workers refusing to ship weapons to students erecting encampments to shut down their universities, to resignations of conscience at the highest levels of US and world governments, to a Global South-led case at the International Court of Justice, to freedom flotillas braving the seas to break the siege. This is what leaders in the United States were saying. October 2023, President Joe Biden: we will make sure Israel has what it needs. October 2023, President Joe Biden: let there be no doubt, the United States has Israel's back. October 2023, President Joe Biden: I have no notion that the Palestinians are telling the truth. November 2023, President Joe Biden: no possibility of a Gaza ceasefire. December 2023, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin: the United States will remain Israel's closest friend. November 2023, Secretary of State Antony Blinken: Israel understands the imperative of protecting civilians. Lies. January 2024, Secretary of State Antony Blinken: the charge of genocide is meritless. February 2025, President Donald Trump: the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll own it. We will be responsible for dismantling the destroyed buildings and create economic development. February 2025, President Donald Trump: we must empty Gaza permanently of its residents. They will not be allowed to return. At the same time, genocide presiding Israeli leaders and officials openly incited and justified atrocities. October 9th, 2023, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant: we are imposing a complete siege on Gaza. No electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. October 28, 2023, Minister of Agriculture Avi Dichter: Gaza Nekba 2023, that's how it'll end. In November 2023, members of the Knesset invoked biblical Amalek, calling Palestinians Amalek to be annihilated. December 2023, Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu suggested using nuclear weapons on Gaza. January 2024, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich called for Gaza to be, quote, flattened and, quote, burned. February 2024, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir: we must encourage voluntary emigration of Gaza's residents, permanent exile. And throughout 2023 and 2025, over 400 such documented statements by Law for Palestine formed a database of explicit genocidal intent. Our coalition is arrayed against a world of such exhausting and constant brutality, laundered by powerful world leaders and predicated upon the racist and consistent dehumanization of an entire people. And here in San Antonio, what Palestine teaches us is this: The struggle against this emerging world is local. Greg Abbott threatens to bankrupt cities like San Marcos for daring to debate a ceasefire resolution. Dan Patrick and Ken Paxton draft laws to muzzle protests and criminalize speech. Tom Oliverson pushes his Christian Zionist bills at the Texas Capitol, trying to legislate Palestine out of existence. Loser. Tony Gonzalez and Chip Roy wave through U.S. weapons shipments while denouncing protesters at home. And that's right. And Henry Cuellar, our own congressman, votes reliably for endless military armaments. And I better hear you loud on this next one. Former Mayor Ron Nirenberg waited out pressure and punted the genocide question to a new mayor, placing long-term political ambitions over his own humanity. Corporations and local megachurches are invested too. Valero fuels the jets that drop the bombs. Chevron profits off of stolen gas. Cornerstone Church and Christians United for Israel within it passed the donation plate, blessing genocide as a stepping stone in prophecy, enlisting congregants in a settler colonial end times crusade. That's right, shame. Every bomb dropped on Gaza, every home demolition in the West Bank with Caterpillar bulldozers carries the fingerprints of this city. So this coalition isn't only about Palestine. It's about what kind of city we live in, what kind of state we are. The same corporations and politicians underwriting the past 2 years of mass killing abroad are the ones denying housing, healthcare, and dignity, but turning up repression at home. The lines connect, the fights are linked, the better world must be organized. Aaron Bushnell, a San Antonian who gave his life in protest of this genocide, told the truth. This is what the ruling class has decided will be normal. And this is the world Israel and its allies are trying to lock into place. The other half of Dr. King's warning. A world of power without love. A fascist world. A world of recklessness and abuse. The world we are guaranteed without movements and without opposition. A world stripped of collective humanity. The San Antonio for Palestine Coalition will fight against this reality coming to fruition because we believe that to be the stakes of the global situation. A world organized for life is on the line. A world organized for solidarity is on the line. And for Palestinians, we hope in our hearts for a new day. We hope in our hearts for a new day, a trajectory of where the colonial continuum of the first Nakba and now the second Nakba in Gaza is suspended, linking historic Palestine to post-colonial Palestine. Where the return of the exiled to the generations that have stayed can mean the beginning of reconnection, reconstruction, and the recovery of what has been fragmented, stolen, and lost. Our own project, this coalition, made up of Palestinians, Jews, teachers, organizers, progressive faith folks, queer people, parents, trade unionists, will work to build opportunities for others to join us. If you live in this city, you are already implicated in what our institutions fund and what our politicians excuse. That means you also have the chance to be part of interrupting it. We are building a coalition that insists San Antonio's name not be written on the side of bombs, nor stamped into the contracts of repression. Our project is simple and it's enormous. To carve out spaces of resistance and solidarity here so that Palestine is not only remembered and mourned, but actively defended in the streets, in our schools, in our congregations, in our unions, in our neighborhoods. Join us. Thank you. All right, we have 6 speakers who will be speaking for a few minutes each, representing various organizations in our community. The first speaker who I'm welcoming to the stage is my organizing mom, my friend, our very own Judith Norman.
Thank you so much, Sara. Once again, Sara Massoud! So, if you've even dipped your toes into the disaster that is the 21st century, you know that Judaism is having what might be called a crisis moment. For various reasons, some bad and some super bad, most Jews have tied their fortunes and identity to the state of Israel. This move is Zionism. Zionism, in case there's any question, is the belief that Jews have a right to an ethno-state in historic Palestine. There's a conspiracy to make this seem plausible, historically grounded, or even worse, complicated. And to assess this claim that Jews have a right to an ethno-state in historic Palestine, you need to learn all about Samaria or Bavaria or Oslo. But you don't. Don't let them silence you about what you know and what you can see. You can refute the claim that Jews have the right to an ethno-state in historic Palestine by saying, nope. Nope. Nobody has the right to an ethno-state. And certainly nobody has the right to commit a genocide to establish that ethno-state. So we are asked, but where can Jews be safe? And we're invited to brainstorm, to prioritize, to center the question of Jewish safety, which is, let me be clear, a vicious tactic. Not because Jewish safety doesn't matter. I am Jewish, my family is Jewish, they've been Jewish from time immemorial, but because it diverts from the question of who is actually in danger these days, which is hardly a question when the Palestinian genocide is literally being live streamed on our phones every day. And besides, it makes safety a zero-sum game. You or me, Jews or Palestinians, me or my beloved Sara. To which again I say, nope. Safety doesn't look like a nuclear arsenal, a colonial frenzy of grabbing as much as you can, killing whoever's in the way and surrounding yourself with weapons. When your image of safety involves a genocide, maybe it's time to rethink. But Zionism is particularly this lie, this nightmare, this ideological defense of unparalleled evil and unmitigated brutality. So in this, the high holy days of my Judaism, I'm here to say that Zionism is not my Judaism. My Judaism has another vision of safety. It looks like one free Palestine from the river to the sea. Thank you, but I didn't come up with that slogan. It's the slogan of Palestinian liberation which inspires, illuminates, provides guidance, and helps generate an image of Jewish safety as well, because it's an immensely just and generous image of liberation, an image of a world where safety is guaranteed not by weapons, but by relationships. It's not zero-sum, but mutually supportive. It's what Palestinians mean when they say that everyone can belong between the river and the sea, and I thank them from my heart, from the bottom of my Jewish identity for this image. This is why Jewish Voice for Peace San Antonio is honored and thrilled to join the San Antonio for Palestine Coalition. Because liberation is collective, Safety is mutual, and Palestine will be free.
Thank you, Judith Norman. Love you. Our next speaker, Juliet Thurber, is representing Act for SA. Let's welcome her.
Hi, my name is Juliet. I'm a proud trans woman and organizer of Act for SA. We organize against mass incarceration and police violence in our community. I am here today in solidarity with Palestinian people, and I wish all who fight state violence, colonization, and oppression. I want to be clear, I'm not Palestinian. I cannot speak for that lived experience. But I do know what it means to have your existence treated as a threat. As a trans woman, I've been called dangerous simply for existing. I have seen communities criminalized, surveilled, and dehumanized. I've seen politicians try to ban me from public life for something as simple as using the bathroom. I recognize that the same system fueling anti-trans hate here are the same ones funding and enabling genocide abroad. The tie between militarized police, criminalization of entire groups of people, and shared tactics of state violence here in San Antonio and in Palestine is undeniable. Since 9/11, U.S. Police departments, including right here in Bexar County, have trained with Israeli occupational forces. These are the same forces notorious for violating international law and brutalizing Palestinians. And the same tactics show up in our streets. Militarized crowd control, armored vehicles, and knee-to-neck tactics that killed George Floyd. This is not a coincidence. This is collaboration. And what ties us together is not only our suffering under state violence, but our resistance in building something better. Trans people have built chosen families and community of care. Palestinians have built art, culture, and resistance even under siege. Our struggles are interconnected because oppression is interconnected. And our solidarity must be interconnected too. Billions of our tax dollars go to fund Israeli military occupation. Meanwhile, those same resources are denied to housing, healthcare, and true community safety here at home. The same forces that try to legislate trans people out of existence are the ones justifying the bombings in Gaza. None of these struggles are separate, and none of us can be free until Palestine is free. From San Antonio to Palestine, we say, stop militarizing police, stop funding apartheid, invest in safety rooted in justice and dignity. Because from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you.
To the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
All right, I'm really proud to introduce the next speaker, a good friend of mine, Comrade James Finley, today representing the Democratic Socialists of America San Antonio chapter. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Sada. Thank you, everybody. I'm so honored and inspired to be here today. As socialists, we recognize that imperialism, ethno-nationalism, and racial capitalism are fundamentally fatal both to democracy and to the thriving of people and the earth. And we recognize that both capitalists and fascists across the world are so committed to protecting the state of Israel because capitalism needs a permanent underclass from whom it can extract wealth just as it does from the land. And Israel is a laboratory for racism, disenfranchisement, dispossession, extrajudicial violence, surveillance, imprisonment, and torture.
That's right.
Together, these forces create, subjugate, and normalize that permanent underclass. Palestinians have been showing us for decades the stakes of this struggle. And amidst the genocide, they model to the rest of us how to resist and hold to the premise of a sustainable and democratic world. Israel and its supporters like to claim that it's the only democracy in the Middle East. To see Israel as a democracy requires you to ignore not only genocide, but also settler colonialism, including land and water theft, as well as apartheid and manifold violations of human rights and international law. And so it's becoming increasingly clear to people in the United States that our own country's self-congratulatory identification as a democracy is equally based in settler colonialism and genocide. And of course, many Americans have been saying this for centuries. But more and more people are coming to recognize that they are being asked either to look away from or to support the cementing of a permanent underclass in the United States as they witness state power being wielded against immigrants, against trans people, and whomever is the next target. In DSA, we believe really strongly in solidarity. It's a term you've heard a lot today. It's the sense that we are connected to one another, that we are responsible for one another, that my thriving depends upon your thriving, that your safety depends upon my safety. To see Israel as a democracy means to refuse solidarity with Palestinians, with anti-Zionist Jews, and the vast majority of the world's population who are opposed to occupation and genocide, who refuse to participate in the creation and normalization of a permanent underclass. Ethno-nationalism and racial capitalism target solidarity. The ruling class tries to make solidarity seem unnecessary or unattractive, and when they don't succeed at that, they criminalize it. But we know that solidarity is survival. There is no other option. The whole world is at stake, both because every person in Gaza is a whole world, and because colonialism and capitalism are together destroying the prospect of a livable future for all of us. So DSA is proud to join this coalition because of our solidarity with Palestine, and because we believe that there can be no solidarity at this time without solidarity with Palestine. Solidarity is a practice. Solidarity forever. Free Palestine.
Fuck yeah, James Finley. All right, I'm so proud to introduce the next speaker, the leader of our rally earlier, Claire Lewis, representing San Antonio Students for Peace.
Okay. Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm so honored to be here with such amazing people, organizers, and speakers. Over the past year, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Amna and Nasser. Amna and Nasser are 20-year-old Palestinian students in Gaza, and they are the embodiment of Palestinian resistance. Amna is a recent graduate of University of Incarnate Word with her bachelor's degree in graphic design. As she studied online, she took care of her siblings, taught them art, guided them, and she continues these duties to this day. Through fundraising for Amna, San Antonio Students for Peace has been able to sell Amna stickers, which she created herself on her iPad in her tent. Nasser is currently an online student in multimedia. Through our fundraising efforts back in May, we were able to accomplish our goal, which allowed Nasser to purchase his laptop he needed for his education. He now serves his community as a deputy director at Hand Goodness, which supports people of Gaza through aid and volunteering. Amna and Nasser's education status does not define who they are. However, their stories of pursuing a better life, a safe home, and their unwavering dedication to education has shaped their character, and their courage is truly inspiring to all of us. To continue the fight for liberation, we have to note the documentation of violence by Israel and the US is just as important to witness as the successes and the stories of Palestinian people trailblazing their futures from the ground up, just like Amna and Nasser. My name's Claire, and I'm a proud college student here in the great city of San Antonio. Over the past 2 years, I've had the joy of leading the most compassionate group of students. As the director of San Antonio Students for Peace, I'm honored to be able to speak to you here all today. Texan students and educators find ourselves in a precarious position. Surveillance and censorship are running rampant on our campuses, especially following the passage of SB 2972 that has created unnecessary barriers to deter expressive activities at public higher education institutions by limiting where and when these activities can occur. This is obviously in direct response to last year's pro-Palestinian protests on university campuses and mass arrests of peaceful protesters at the University of Texas. This is a direct infringement on our First Amendment right. Our schools are no longer safe spaces for students or educators, and especially for young advocates who have always been at the forefront of social movements from San Antonio to Gaza. We must protect students from repression while protesting for Palestine, especially for any of the other multitude of causes needing our attention now. Especially when those in power, university presidents and administrations are silent. We must not only protect, but encourage and demonstrate bold action. Without the courage of our young people, our movement will be at a standstill, and this is exactly what the people in power want. Today, I urge every young person, every student to be bold in your advocacy. Even when you are unsure about all the facts, you will learn as you go. But solidarity for Palestine cannot wait for you. Even when our free speech is under attack, we still have access to education. As I speak to you today, Israeli forces have used airstrikes, shelling, burning, and US-funded weapons to destroy more than 90% of schools and universities across Gaza. Targeting youth through the destruction of educational institutions is strategic, is an attempt to destroy the continuity and erase the future of Palestinian identity. This is scholasticide. San Antonio Students for Peace has joined the San Antonio Palestine Coalition because we want our city to be known as a city that shouts for liberation for Palestine and all peoples under an occupation today and forever. I had no intent of ever coming this far into organizing, and I'm happy to find myself here today. This community has truly been the highlight of my adolescence. This coalition is a collaboration of all our communities, a community that must continue to empower and protect students and educators when facing unfair discipline and judgment for standing up for Palestine by challenging school districts and the people in charge. The students say, Israel and the US will not continue to dictate the students' drive to advocate. We will only continue to demonstrate radical compassion beyond our borders. Our students' compassion will not be boxed into specific timeframes or be limited to a certain patch of grass on our campuses. We do not fear the power held lingering above our heads. You cannot suppress the passion for peace. To students, our coalition, and everyone here today, we are the future. Thank you so much.
Give it up for San Antonio Students for Peace one more time. Thank you. Our second to last speaker is a good friend of mine and someone you may recognize from the San Antonio Teachers Alliance, our friend Luke Amphlett.
All power to the students. Good afternoon, my name is Luke Amphlett. I'm a US history teacher and union member. I'm here representing the San Antonio Alliance of Teachers and Support Personnel, Local 67. Todos tenemos familia en Gaza. We all have family in Gaza. I'm here today to reiterate our union's call, the call of the American labor movement, the call of the majority of the American people, and an overwhelming global majority for an end to the genocide in Gaza, an end to the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians across Gaza and the West Bank, an end to US diplomatic support for the genocidal far-right Israeli government, and an end to US military aid and weapons shipments to Israel. And that's my theme tune. Our union is proud to stand in solidarity with these local organizations whose actions remind us that Palestine isn't far away, it's here, present with us in our city, in our tax dollars, our silences, our action, and our inaction. Palestine is present in my thoughts and words today as I reiterate our union's commitment to a ceasefire and lasting peace, the end of the occupation, and the liberation and self-determination of Palestinians. This is a call we've made since October 11th, 2023, that the San Antonio AFL-CIO, Texas AFL-CIO, National AFL-CIO, and unions representing millions of Americans have made since then. Since October 7th, 2023, Texas labor has led the way in this labor struggle, and Texas labor will continue to lead the fight alongside our San Antonio congressional representatives to end the supply of weapons to a country actively carrying out a deliberate and targeted mass murder of an entire people in Palestine. Palestine is present in my classroom as my students ask me why their families can't afford medical care in the richest country in the world, why their teachers have to buy their own classroom supplies, why teachers have to work second jobs, but our government can find all the money in the world to supply high-tech weapons that fall in an endless rain of death on schools, hospitals, homes, children, families, and teachers in Gaza. And their questions hit home. And Palestine is at the front of our minds when we hear that free speech is under attack in America, as Christian nationalists push unconstitutional Ten Commandments posters into Texas classrooms, while viciously targeting teachers and students, whether in tents at universities or telling simple elementary truths in classrooms. Truths that should be uncontroversial, that genocide is the highest crime against humanity, that children and civilians must be protected during conflict, and the deliberate starvation of a population is an abomination that strips us all of our humanity. Finally, Palestine haunts the empty words of all those who oppose authoritarianism at home while doing nothing to save the victims of a US-funded genocide. No kings in America, yes, but no empires either. No kings in America, but no ethnic cleansing overseas. No kings, yes, but also no to genocide, no to permanent war, no to the endless, profit-driven supply of weapons to despots, dictators, and genocidaires in the name of national security. As Fanon warned us a long time ago, we cannot disassociate ourselves from the future that is proposed for the people of Palestine. Every one of our silences, every one of our cowardices reveals us as human beings. Our union and teachers and workers across San Antonio, across Texas, and across the country choose not to be silent. We lift our voices in support of the organizations gathered here today and recommit to fighting for a future of peace, freedom, and equal democratic rights for all who live between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Our message is dedicated to all human beings in both its universality and its particularity. Opposition to apartheid anywhere. Opposition to authoritarianism anywhere. Opposition to ethnic cleansing anywhere. Opposition to genocide anywhere. And today that means Palestine, because our tax dollars are funding and our government is actively supporting apartheid, authoritarianism, ethnic cleansing, and genocide against the Palestinian people. We call on all people of conscience to act to end this genocide. Do what you can, and do it now before it's too late. Thank you.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Gaza!
Free, free, free Gaza!
Free, free, free Gaza!
Free, free, free Gaza!
From the river to the sea,
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine!
be our last speaker. And after he's done speaking, today's program will be officially concluded. I do encourage those of you who are here representing orgs to meet with folks who may not be in orgs. Those of you who are not affiliated with any organizations and want to get involved, there's so many amazing organizations here that you can meet who've brought literature for you to get involved. So please connect afterward. I want to encourage you to follow us on our very brand new social media page. We have flyers with a QR code here, so you can find the San Antonio for Palestine Coalition. If you're representing a local organization here, please reach out to us to see how you can join. If you're an individual and you are already part of an organization that is not part of the coalition, find out how your organization can get involved. Designated members of our coalition leadership team will be available for press interviews upon conclusion of the next speaker's comments. And with that, I want to welcome Alex Burnell, representing San Antonio for Justice in Palestine, to close us out. Thank you, and Free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
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 On the 2-year anniversary of the Gaza genocide, I feel compelled to say how much I miss my friend Maureen. Our friend Maureen, who left San Antonio nearly a year and a half ago to be in Gaza full-time so she could coordinate medical delegations into the besieged Strip as the head of mission for the international nonprofit GLIA. For SAJP, our connection to her makes the global to the local and the local to the global dimensions of this struggle painfully literal. She is always on our minds. And to our core members with family in the West Bank of Palestine, you hold and carry a pain that is especially yours, and I can only hope you know the entirety of this community carries it with you. We thank you for organizing through your grief, but we are cognizant that for all your power and your endurance, you are grieving. I ask media here to think about that with special sensitivity, as the spectacle of media, getting quotes, and story writing can detach, make distant, objectify. These are your neighbors who are hurted because their people are being genocided. Members of your own profession are being targeted exactly because of your profession being a source of power and of truth. You can best honor them and their lives by being a source of power and of truth yourselves. Gaza has become the deadliest place on earth to be a journalist, for holding a mic in front of a camera, for typing words, for reporting. SAJP has done our very best to be effective, alongside people worldwide desperate to be effective too. We exist in a strange, surreal, and frightening condition. It is difficult for me to reconcile these two truths. The organizing to stop this genocide has been consistent, tactically diverse, big and small, grassroots and institutional, direct and indirect, creative, spontaneous, methodical, and carefully planned, fierce and justifiably righteous. And, two, the sum total of this activity has not stopped either our government and its sponsorship, nor Israel and its eliminationist campaign of slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza. It is simultaneously beautiful that so many are fighting for Palestinians' right to self-determination. It is the agonizing racism of our world system that Palestinian death galvanizes concern for Palestinian life. It feels imperative to share with everyone the danger of this equation, of being confronted with fascism that has fortified itself against challenge. I do not want to contemplate a world in which we surrender and let the pot boil fully over. Are we going to surrender?
No!
Over the past 2 years, we have organized, and other organizations have entered the fold Today's coalition is an accrual of that solidarity. We have helped to anchor and incubate new Palestine formations on campuses across this city who agree that a world where genocide is permitted is a teetering one. We've helped to launch the People's University for Palestine to deepen San Antonio's understanding of the topic. We supported the launch of River to Sea Cinematheque with the same aim, plus a commitment to highlighting Palestinian film. We returned week after week to the city's public comment sessions to demand our leaders find their souls and lead before being waited out. I ask those who consider these folks pillars of our community to recall this as evidence of their character. It is this kind of failure to give pain a salve, an anti-genocide campaign a boost, that should stick to them. We were met early by our dear friends in labor, the San Antonio Alliance, one of the very first locals in the country to call for a ceasefire, a precedent they carried all the way to the AFL-CIO COPE convention floor, making the Texas state affiliate the first to call for a ceasefire. We were even joined by grassroots members of the Democratic Party who ensured that the Texas State Party was the first to demand the same. We did die-ins, we did projection protests, we did member trainings, we connected up statewide. Within this whirlwind of activity was a local movement learning hard lessons, paradoxical ones like nothing we do is enough, but everything we do is indispensable. I can only conclude that we must get more strategic and set our sights on the genuine ambition of growing a mass movement here. We must reach deeper into faith communities. We must build stronger ties to our friends in labor. We must elect new leaders, and we must not be afraid of direct confrontations with those in power who deserve to be challenged by the people in this city that we can and must be different. From John Hagee and Peter Holt, right here at home, to Donald Trump in the White House, if you don't follow and organize with SAJP, I invite you to now. We are at SAJP 1948 on Instagram. I want to end differently. I want to invite us to turn this grief and rage into connections, strangers into comrades and friends. If you feel comfortable, turn to a neighbor and ask, "Can I hold your hand?" I'll give everybody a moment. And if you have permission and you're holding a hand, close your eyes for a moment. If you've ever felt powerless watching the bombs fall, squeeze your hand. If you've ever feared for the safety of your family, squeeze your hand. If you've ever struggled to pay a bill while knowing billions go to fund war, squeeze your hand. If you have ever been told your tears are weakness, squeeze your hand. If you ever felt your very identity positions or your positions misnamed, misjudged, or denied, squeeze your hand. If you have ever felt your commitment to freedom and justice in the land between the river and the sea called anti-Semitic, squeeze your hand. If you believe in the power of love in action, squeeze your hand. If you believe human beings can change history, squeeze your hand. If you're ready to fight for a world where genocide is never normal, squeeze your hand. Now raise them and repeat after me. With these hands, we will fight for our schools. With these hands, we will free our people. With these hands, we will fight for justice. With these hands, we will do miracles. With these hands, we will end San Antonio's complicity in genocide. With these hands, we will be a part of freeing Palestine. Right now, thank you. Tell your neighbor thank you. Thank you, everybody.